We're here in front of Kings of Cutz. We're going to go in and hopefully have a community discussion on a very vital subject to our community. Join us. We're here at Kings of Cutz in South Dallas, near the famed Cotton Bowl in past days. We're here with the owner of Kings of Cutz, Brother Fred, and we're going to talk about one of those vital issues that impact our communities, and founder and CEO of United Voices for a Common Cause, H.L. Lewis, also author of The Scandalous Love Affair with the N-Word, is here with us, and he'll start off that conversation with Brother Fred.
Okay. How you doing, Fred? Okay. As you know, there's been tremendous interest in the N-word around the nation.
Right.
And so we're just curious as to what are your thoughts and opinion on the use of the N-word?
Well, man, I believe it's a terrible thing that happened to the black community. You know, it was a word that was invented, I guess, or created to demoralize us, you know, and so for us to use it every day and glorify it, you know, I believe it's injustice to us, and you know, it really needs to be stopped, you know.
We're going to head down this way, talk to another one of our patrons here. Hey, brother, how you doing?
All right, bro.
I'm Ron, man. I'm with United Voices for a Common Cause. Mind if we talk to you for a few minutes? All right. What we're doing is, I see you have one of our pamphlets in your hand, and we want to know, one of the things we're just trying to get a pulse on is the N-word and the use of it in the black community. Do you think it's a word that helps our community or continues to help it? Okay. All right. All right.
I think it's a good thing y'all doing, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make it be positive, stop using everything. I think that's a positive thing to do.
All right.
What y'all doing, I think I'll commend y'all.
All right, man.
Commend y'all.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Reggie? All right, nice to meet you, man. I'm Ron Shirley. I'm with the United Voices for a Common Cause, and we're filming a documentary for our website, hopefully for other uses. We're focusing right now in on the use of the N-word. What's your take on that?
The N-word. My take is I don't see a problem with it. To me, it's people of older age or whatever. I guess they stuck on the mindset that it's related to slavery and all that. I mean, all that might be true, but really right about now, we have, it's not a slave terminology. It's just like other words you might use and have a bad terms, but people use them as more positive than negative.
So the word
seems to be negative to
an older population?
More of an older population.
So
because of their personal experience, but our personal experience is totally different.
Okay, all right. I mean, I feel you on that. On the other hand, if you were to flip it, based on everything that I've looked at from just the history of the word itself and the history of words, why does it appear that no other nationality uses any other derogatory term to greet one another? I don't hear it in the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the white community, but I hear it pervasively in the black community. What's your feel on that, if it's just a word?
Because, I mean, they not us, you know what I'm saying? And y'all live in where, I'm going to say y'all because I don't know your standpoint on whatever's going on, but people seem to be stuck in history and the things that history have they made instead of trying to make their own history. See, we making history.
Okay.
100 years from now, children, when they hear that word, it wouldn't be slavery. The only reason it would relate to them, their mindset would go to slavery is because of what they're being taught by. They won't be taught that because we don't teach that anymore.
All right. So is it just okay for another African American to say it to another African American? What if a Jewish American walked up to you and used that word? What does it have the same? It's the same word, whether we spell it with GGA or ER or whatever. Is it okay, and does it have any impact?
The word Negro period is black altogether. You know what I'm saying, in many different languages. So for anybody to say it, Jewish American, it's white niggas, Mexican niggas, it's all kind of niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It ain't just black people no more. It's
okay.
We make a brotherhood while other people, and instead of taking our positive ways, they stay to try to bring it down and make it where it's still negative upon us.
Okay.
When we really making it into a positive statement, but they can keep trying to make it negative, but we gonna keep on doing what we do. Cause if it was that negative, it had a negative effect, we wouldn't use it. Obviously, it's too negative.
Okay. So to sum this up, the N-word is not negative as far as your perspective on it. It's just another word, and it's a word that's just outlived its usefulness from a negative standpoint.
Yeah, like many other words. I done had plenty of conversations about this. And a lot of
well, you know, you bring up a good point. What's another word that grew up in a negative environment, had a severe impact on a people for over 450 years, and continues to this day? What's another word that has the same type of impact today that we use freely? Because I don't hear too many other slangs being used with other ethnicities, just with us. And we're just trying, from a UVC standpoint, we're just trying to get a feel for, you know, what does young black America think about it and the impacts of it today.
Another word that has had a harmful effect on certain humans. I don't know, but it's like rednecks. You know, a lot of white people don't like being called rednecks. But you have many of them who do. You get it tattooed on their neck, on their arms,
Okay.
legs, head, all that.
All right.
But because it's not negative to them. It's only negative when everything is negative is how you take it. If you feel negative about a certain thing, then it's negative to you. But it's not negative to the person who.
Okay. All right. No, again, I hear that. You were making a comment. I'm Ron. What's your name, man?
Kendrick.
Kendra?
Yeah.
What's your take? You heard what, it's Reggie, right? You heard what Reginald had to say, man. What's your take on it?
Well, I look at it, man, it's a lot of nationalities that don't say the word. There's a lot of nationalities that do use the word. You know, and for years for years we've been calling each other that, but it has turned into like a more positive thing. It depends on how you saying it and how you put it out there to the person.
Okay.
And the people that's around you, how they relate to you and how they taking it in or putting it out. You know, so if you come across a person that don't use that word that often, respect that person and not use that word towards that person.
Okay.
Okay. But the people that you can't relate to, okay, use it amongst your circle. It ain't gonna hurt nobody, but you know, maybe in due time that word will fade out.
All right.
As far as us thinking about the negative terms of it being negative when we say the word nigga, it's just like your name being Kendrick and somebody call you Ken for shortness.
Okay.
We all born Negroes.
All right.
White man just took it and just called us nigga for short. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna call me Ken.
All right, but you bring up a good point though, and then we're gonna move on. Yeah, you bring up a good point. The fact that your name is Kendra, but they can shorten it to Ken, does that change the meaning of your name?
No, it don't change the meaning of my
Well, then how does it change the meaning of that word that wasn't born from us and born to oppress us? How does it change from being affectionate to being negative? Because you just made my case.
Well,
because the nature of that word and the meaning of it didn't change. Just because I can abbreviate your name, at the end of the day, you're still going to be Ken. think about it. We're going to move on to somebody else. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. The barber? Okay. How you doing, sister? I'm Ron with the UVCC for a Common Cause. What's your name?
Sonia.
Sonia. We're going throughout the barbershop just getting a perspective on the N-word. And we've talked to some of the brothers here. We want to hear from a sister and how you view the N-word, or whether or not it has an impact on our community, or you, or...
You know what? I think the word it'll never die, because you have the youngsters, the white folks calling each other niggas, and just every race is calling each other niggas. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't think it'll never die. Is it okay? I mean, is it just part of the landscape? Is it okay, or? It ain't okay. Well, you know how we feel like if a white person call us a nigga, you know we gonna go ballistic, you know what I mean? But us calling each other niggas. But if we can call each other that, doesn't that somewhat give them license, because they see it in not only film, music, and in print, and if we do it, are we giving other folks a license? Yeah, to call, well, yeah. And is that, but I was just talking to the young brothers, they were saying it's no longer a negative word, it's an affectionate word. So it's like... Well, see, it's an affectionate word beyond us, you know what I'm saying? Okay. To know, I mean, not like I said, a white person call us a nigga. We can't take
it's
that.
On, then.
It's on. It's on, because I can't take that. And I know I'm black. All right. So what's your take if in the barbershop, because this is our country club, we talk about everything from politics to religion here. Mm-hmm. Is it an acceptable word to use in here? Is everybody comfortable here? Well, not a lot of them, you know, like the youngsters out here, you know, what's up, my nigga, you know, in the barbershop. I don't see nothing wrong with it. We among, you know, each other and all that. So I don't see nothing really wrong with it. In the shop, they talk about everything in the barbershop. Right, you know, right. This is our country club. Yeah, so if a white person in here, that's what he gonna hear. My nigga, and I guess it... But at the end of the day, if you walked out of here, went downtown, went to restaurant, department store, and the salesperson greeted you as, what's up? I'm gonna knock him out. I don't want to hear that. Not coming from him, white dude. No. I'm gonna get mad. So no. So you wouldn't accept that greeting, which around the shop has been qualified as an affectionate term, but you're saying it's amongst us though. But don't we reflect the greater populace? And how we treat each other, doesn't that have an impact on how people will treat us? Yeah. Okay. All right. What about you, young brother? You look to be about 22, 23? 21? All right. What's your take on that? You're younger generation, as opposed to me. I'm a baby boomer. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's been around since I've been growing up, my friends and everybody else like that. And I really haven't seen a problem until actually getting older. Because you're right, it does affect us if somebody else outside of our race calls us a nigger or a nigger or anything else like that. So I don't think it's okay, because say if you have 3 black friends and 1 white friend, and then they're all saying, what's up, my nigga, and then the white boy says it, and everybody wants to get mad, that's still supposed to be your friend. Okay. So I don't think it's okay. So we've in essence created a double standard, both within our community and the larger community? Yes. All right. So what do we do about that? I mean, do we put a hold on it, you know, or do we just continue business as usual? No, we actually have to have people to go out and just explain and enlighten our young brothers and sisters about it, and that's all we can do. Because can't no one somebody stop that word, you know what I'm saying? Okay. No. All right. No one somebody can stop it. Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing all right.
All right, good. I'm Ron, man.
What's going on, Ron?
All right. What's your name, brother?
Gerard.
Gerard?
Yeah.
We're here talking about
You know, the use of the N-word. Should it stay? Should it go? Is it just a neutral term? Doesn't have the same impact it had, let's just say, 20 years ago as opposed to 450. What's your take?
Well, words are a huge part of our society. They what help shape us, who we are. That's part of our means of communication. So with that, words can make or break a person. If you call somebody something long enough, they tend to take on those characteristics. Now with that said, like I overheard one of the barbers over there saying that you have different spellings of the word, which also has different definitions of the word. Now, by the word being so widespread worldwide, to stop it is theoretically impossible. There's no way that you can stop the actual usage of that particular word or that particular term. So what you try to do is change the way it's spelled and the way it's felt when you say it.
Okay.
That's all you can do at this point because it's such a wide, it carries such a wide demographic.
Okay.
You know, and nationalities and countries and so on and so forth. So with that said, it's like you have to change that meaning, change how you feel about that word.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't, there's no way that you can really say, let's stop the N-word. Okay. Let's say this community stops, but this community doesn't stop. That community continues to use the word. So that therefore your generation of kids that don't use it will be exposed to it, and it'll be like anything else. If they can't get it while they're young, whenever they get old enough to get it, they're going to use it, and they're going to use it. And so that particular sale becomes corrupted because everybody else is still using the word.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to change the meaning of it, change the way you feel about it, and roll with it like that. Now, I wouldn't take nobody else calling me that word because it's a term of endearment. So if you don't know me, you out of bounds to address me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you don't, and that goes for anybody.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Anybody.
Now that's a profound explanation on that, and I appreciate that. I got a challenge for you though.
Okay, shoot.
Terms of endearment to me, when I think about overall family and just close associations and friendships, like I address you as Doc.
Doc.
Doc to me elevates you. Or back in the day, I would say, Chief, how you doing? You know, black man, how you doing? Why do you think we have chosen a word that came from an oppressive background? We try to manipulate it into something different because you said in the beginning, and I respect that words are powerful, and we know that. Words have shaped this world. Why have we continued to hang on to a word that didn't originate from us, was used against us to dehumanize us, to justify what was done? And I'm not going back to slavery, I'm going back to 1970 and back to from 64 to 70 and to this day. Help me with that.
All right, now I'm going to tell you like a term of endearment. When you say Doc, you say G or homie or whatever, generally you're speaking to somebody you really don't know. And you try to let them know that, hey, because black men traditionally is always a class thing. So in order to diffuse the situation, when I'm first meeting you, say, what's up, Doc? Or say, what's up, bro? Or say, what's up, King, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you already letting him know you coming with no aggression. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I don't know you and I come to you, look out my nigga, you know what I'm saying? So I'm coming to you with aggression, you know what I'm saying, off the top, so you automatically get defensive. You know what I mean? So now if I know you and we kick it and we hang out or whatever, when I say look out my nigga, I'm not talking about, you know, I feel you, bro. I understand the struggle that you're going through. Me and you going through the same thing. That's why I kick it with you like that. You know what I'm saying? Me and you going through the same thing. You feel the same pain I feel.
Now again, you hit on a very, very crucial point, and then we're gonna move on. But you hit on a very crucial point. Would you say that in America, and you went global, as well as in this world, is there not still a brotherhood of us in terms of what we suffer through, even in the 21st century?
You know what? Yes, they are, and they always will be. But you have to think outside of just our skin color. You know what I'm saying? Because every race of people on the face of this earth have been subjected to slavery. It just so happens that when our turn came up, They
Yeah.
use all them other lessons learned against us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
By the way, it was also the most crucial,
The most crucial.
hideous,
Well,
and detrimental.
outside the Jews.
Yeah. No.
The Jews got, I mean, they didn't even make those slaves, just they slaughtered them.
Yeah, but you got to put it in perspective. You're talking 6 million Jews,
Right.
concentration camps in Europe,
Right.
100 million making the voyage here, as well as being here in the southern part of this country. So there's no comparison there.
Well,
There's no comparison there.
from our perspective, we can say no. But from a Jew's perspective, they'll say it's pretty much the same.
I
You know what
agree.
I'm saying? I mean,
We agree on that.
It's really about perspective. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
but we agree on
Yeah,
that.
because we connect with that.
Right.
Because that was our ancestors.
Right.
So we feel that. So of course we're automatically going to say that this is more traumatic because it affected more people.
Well, it was more treacherous though. I mean, being gassed is one thing,
Yeah.
but being tied to a tree, tarred and feathered, and lit with kerosene,
Right.
it's a little more dramatic. To be castrated, so on and so forth. So, but I feel you, man. We're going to talk to this brother here. We're going to get hopefully a totally different perspective, or maybe the same perspective. In any case, it's going to be enlightening. I'm Ron, man.
How you doing, Matthew?
Andrew? Matthew. We're here with Matthew. Matthew, we're here talking about the use of the N-word, and today the N-word has spanned outside of the black community. I want to get your perspective on that and your generation, because you're in that Nexus generation, so what's your take on that?
I mean, it's been used for a long time. Since I grew up, I always heard my peers saying.
All right.
So my take on it is, I done seen it used to degrade people, and I've seen it used to, you know what I mean, just used as a term, you know what I mean? More so used as a term as acknowledging somebody, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Most of the time it don't be in a degrading way, it be acknowledging somebody in an uplifting way, you know what I mean? We don't address our female, but that's my girl no more, that's my bitch, you know what I mean? Just like, that's not my partner, you know what I'm saying? We say that's my nigga, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't try to use the word like that no more, just because I've been enlightened to the fact, you know what I mean? I'm Asian, so a lot of people think I'm Mexican when they talk to me, but I'm really Asian, so.
Okay.
I hear it all the time in the black community when they talk about the store, you know what I'm saying, or the shanks over there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always, you know what I mean? Is it really how you, it's your opinion, you know what I'm saying, how you feel about it, because
Okay.
I don't get mad when somebody say, you know what I'm saying, them shanks or something like that, because I understand how they talk, you know what I mean? That's been put in their mind frame for a long time. You know?
Okay. All right. Now, do you you said you're Asian, right? Being an Asian brother, do you feel comfortable? You work in a predominantly African-American barbershop and African-American community. Would you feel comfortable with any one of these brothers, or a brother walking in just to get a cut, addressing that brother with the N-word?
Would I feel comfortable with it? I'm comfortable with it because I'm so used to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you're part of the fabric here.
I mean, really, I don't feel like I'm a part of it, but I feel like y'all got something to do with it because everybody, I don't know, I mean, I ain't never really just seen somebody say to somebody when somebody just got mad about it, you know what I mean?
Okay,
Unless
okay.
it was another race.
All right.
That really be in a whole nother situation, like incarcerated.
Okay, all right.
That type of area, but I really don't know. I mean, I don't think nowadays. I don't know. I really don't know because
Okay.
I ain't really sat down and thought about it.
Now again, I'm going to try to build on the fact that you're Asian, and it's, you know, you're comfortable being in the skin that you're in. But from an Asian perspective, is there a term that is used as often, whether it's media, movies, print, in the Asian community, that is equivalent to the N-word? Because I don't hear it.
For the Asian people?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear it, but I haven't, been exposed to everything. But
really, they ain't gonna do that. That's disrespectful.
But it's all right. That is what? It's disrespectful. if that's disrespectful, because I haven't heard it, and I've been around a long time, and I've kind of float in and out of communities doing what we do from an organizational standpoint. And you're right, I don't hear, because most non-black people don't use terms openly. They may privately, but openly in all of those venues that I just mentioned, because it is disrespectful. What's the difference with this word? And I'm just getting your perspective. What's the difference with this word and black people?
The N-word and black people?
Yeah, well, using the N-word and other nationalities thinking any other colloquialism as a negative, and they don't do it.
I mean, I know as far as the Asian culture, that's how they brought up. They brought up on a whole different culture as far as you don't even talk back to your parents, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think it's just the more, how people more is a picture, you know what I mean? Whatever, how you was raised. If you was raised that way, you know what I'm saying? This is how people raised it.
All right, so,
you know what I mean?
So growing up, it was a different set, or what I would consider a code of ethics and a code of behavior that doesn't go over big in Asian community. You grew up with honor, knowledge of culture and history.
I mean, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say as far as I look at my mother or something like that, and what she teaches to me, yeah, she grew up on it. I grew up on another culture.
Okay.
My mother's from Vietnam. She just moved 20-some years ago. So her and me don't even have the same views on a lot of things. But at the same time, that's the reason I don't ever hear the Asian community, because they people ain't gonna tolerate them saying something like this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
so it's a matter of a code of conduct that's just not going to go over in an Asian community with negative terms to describe oneself.
I mean, but a whole bunch of Asians started calling each other, "What's up, Shank? What's up, Shank? Woo woo," and that got to a fad, and it turned into that. It might, you know what I'm saying? It might be the same thing, but
all right.
It's not like that. And
okay.
I don't know the reason why it ain't like that. The reason why black community don't evolve to being able to say, I don't know.
Okay. Well, it might have something to do, and this just a suggestion, could have something to do with being indoctrinated into a way of life, because African Americans didn't come to this country using the N-word. They were either speaking Congolese or about 113 different other dialects, from Swahili to Rowanese or whatever, depending on what region of Africa you came from. So this is a taught phenomenon as opposed to a internal cultural phenomenon, which makes this whole thing so interesting to begin with. Is because outside of our community, generally speaking, we don't have what I would call a pervasive use of anything negative to describe us as a people. This is the UVCC at Kings of Cutz Barbershop in Dallas, Texas, and we thank you for sharing this opportunity with us, for us to get a bigger insight in terms of the use of the N-word. Is it fact or is it fiction? Use or non-use?